Oh my god. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like reintroducing myself because the first video that I did was a bit all over the place. I did not mention where I'm from, I did not mention my name or where I'm currently living and what I'm doing with my life. So I just prefer to redo my introduction. So my name is Kate. It's actually Catherine, but everyone calls me Kate. I'm currently living in France. I am originally from Uganda in Kenya. So I spent much of my life in Kenya more than Uganda. So like I grew up in Kenya, lived in Turkana district for so long. I went to high school in Kenya, to Loreto High School in Kiambu. And so I did my KCSE. Well, how I came to France. I came to France like 5 years ago. And actually, I arrived in Europe in 2012 through Switzerland. I went to Geneva. A friend of mine acquired an internship for me. That's how I came as an intern to one of the international organizations. We all know Geneva is where all the headquarters are. So as an intern, I did an internship for about 5 months. And within that time, I applied to a university to study visual arts. So I was accepted at the university in Geneva, and I finished my internship and went straight to school. And from then on, I've been in Europe. After my studies, I found myself, I met somebody, and the person is from France. So I moved to France for that and started my life here. And now I have 3 kids. 2 boys and a girl, and we are living just at the border of Switzerland and France, a small town called Ferney-Voltaire. We had to learn French. My kids speak French. I do speak French too, fluently, but I prefer to use English for this channel so that I can reach a wider audience, and also I can reach people back at home, because East Africa is not a French-speaking country, unlike the West African countries. And I do speak Swahili too, but I am afraid that also with Swahili I might not be able to reach a wider audience as I want, because I might reach only East Africans, and there are a lot of people out here who don't speak Swahili. Although I love Swahili, like Swahili is the most beautiful language in the world for me. The most beautiful. I love Swahili. I speak Swahili. My kids, I speak to them in Swahili. They do understand most of the words. They even like try to speak it themselves. And hopefully one day they will be able to learn and actually get to speak and and speak properly when they come, when they visit back home. There is no formula for coming to Europe. I cannot tell you any formula. I cannot give anyone any formula for coming to Europe. I have friends who ask me to find a job for them or find a white man for them. I don't know. I mean, I've never done any of those things. I don't know how to find anyone a job out here, and don't pay anybody money so that they can find you a job out here. They're just going to con you. They're going to eat your money, and then you end up with nothing, no money, and no documents to bring you out here. But also you can make use of what you have at home. I know it's so challenging, like the opportunities. The only good thing about being out here is that there's so much more opportunity for work. However menial the job is, you can always get a job. You can always get a job. You cannot sleep hungry out here in France. I don't know about America. I see a lot of homeless people in America, but in France, you really cannot sleep hungry, especially if you have kids. You get a lot of help, and there are jobs. So it's about you yourself being choosy. If you choose to be choosy, then it's going to be a bit complicated. But also there's the language barrier. If you came to Europe, most European countries have their languages that are not English. There's the French, they speak French. In France, they speak French. There's the Germans with German, And so it's a bit difficult when you come as an older person starting to learn a language. It took me so long to learn French. Coming here as an adult and learning a new language is a huge challenge, because when you're older you're a bit embarrassed to speak, and like a child who doesn't care, and they interact with other kids, and then they learn things a bit faster than us. They're so resilient kids. But as an adult, there's a challenge where you're a bit embarrassed to pronounce some words, you know, and French is difficult, German is hard, you know. But if you're really motivated, you can succeed and make it. And just to say, Europe is not for everyone. You know, it's not for everyone. Personally, I have never felt at home here. Never. Especially if you grew up in Kenya, you come here and it's just something else, and you just miss that sense of community. You miss the food, you miss the socialization. I mean, people here, it's everyone for themselves, you know. There's no sense of neighborhood, of community, you know. Everybody does their own life. Huh? So it can get a bit lonely if you don't have a family. At first, when I didn't have my kids, that's how it was for me. So lonely. But now with my kids, things have improved. I mean, I have my own little family, and we laugh, we do stuff together, we cook together, and they're just growing and just becoming these wonderful human beings. So yeah, loneliness is another thing that really affects people here, and it can lead you to depression. In the years that I was in school, I was so lonely. Literally, I was lonely that I turned to drink. I used to drink. My God, I used to drink just to keep myself floating through the day without having to care about anything else, you know. And I mean, I see people here that before going out, they take a glass of wine or a sip of wine, because they're like, you know, it's gonna give me a boost of confidence before facing the world, you know. And that's how you start, and then you end up being a drunkard, you know. What saved me was my first baby. When I got pregnant, I was like, I'm cutting out alcohol completely. So it's been a long time since I drank alcohol, and I'm going to continue that way, because now I have a purpose in life, and my kids keep me busy, they keep me happy, they give me a sense of, you know, wanting to be better for them, you know. Yeah. And well, for so many years I had to defend myself being a Ugandan, because I grew up in Kenya. Yes, I was born in Uganda, but I grew up in Kenya. So a lot of people, they were like, no, you're not Ugandan. I had to explain where I'm Ugandan, where I'm from, you know. And people, I was like always having to defend myself because I didn't have the Ugandan accent. So I'm like, do you have to have a Ugandan accent for you to be Ugandan? You know, not every Ugandan speaks Luganda. Yeah, I am from the eastern side, from Tororo, Bugiri, those areas. So in Tororo and Bugiri, people don't speak so much Luganda. There's Busoga, and then there's Adola and Teso people in Tororo. And then there's the Bagisus, you know. So we don't all speak Luganda, and we are not all obliged to have the Ugandan accent, you know. And there are a lot of Ugandans who grew up outside Uganda. There are a lot of Ugandan kids born outside Uganda. My kids are Ugandan, you know. They don't have Ugandan accent. They don't even know any Ugandan language, but they're Ugandan, you know. So it's such a mentality that really affected me and my sense of identity, because I really didn't know where I belonged. I wanted to be close to Ugandan, but they're like, no, they're always doubting me, like I'm pretending to be Ugandan as if there was any benefit to it, you know. So yeah, I prefer to be both. I grew up in Kenya. If I had to have asked for a Kenyan nationality, I think I would have gotten it, considering how long I lived in Kenya. So now I'm in France. It's been a while, and I studied virtual arts in Geneva, but when and then it was so complicated to get a job once I had my first baby. So getting a job in France also in the beginning was a bit hard, because I didn't know the language so well. And in France, being black is, I mean, like everywhere else, they don't consider you for anything, any job that they feel is important. They'll take you for those menial jobs that nobody wants to do. I have worked at, I mean, you know how people go from up to down? I mean, sorry, you know how people go from down to up? I went from up to down. It's just been a downward spiral. The only good thing that has happened in my life in those few years is that I have my 3 beautiful kids. I went from working at an international organization in the hope of having a contract to working at McDonald's in France, to working at a place where you see people throw clothes, throw a lot of clothes here. There's a place where you have to triage. I don't know how to say it in English, but triage. Like you have to select the clothes and keep the new ones, the dirty ones. Like, you know, I have worked in such a place. I mean, I have worked in a supermarket, you know, as a cashier. And then I was just like, you know what, Kate, you're better than this. And I'm not saying people who do those jobs are not better. It's just that, I mean, looking at my background and everything I've done, I was like, you know what, God has bigger plans for me. I can do better, you know. So one day when I was working at McDonald's, I had a very, very bad day. There was this supervisor that used to be so mean to me. So mean. So I just couldn't take it anymore. And after 3 months of working, I just upped and left in the middle of the shift. And I didn't look back. So I went, and then I was like, you know what? I need to change careers. If I'm going to have to work, I need to change careers. So I got into, because I wanted to get into the medical field, but I wasn't sure that it's something that I would love. So instead of doing a nursing course direct, what I did is that I was advised to do a nursing assistant course. It's a 1-year course instead of the nursing course at 3 years. So I did an assistant nursing course for 1 year, just to see whether it's something that, you know, is of my taste, and it's something that I'm comfortable working with people in the hospital, because hospitals are crazy, scary places, you know, working with patients. It's not for everyone. You have to have a stomach for it. So I did a diploma for nursing assistant. And then, yeah, that's the only way I could ever get a job. That's the only way. And now I'm hoping that in a few years, maybe, after getting a little bit of experience, I can advance and do a nursing course. I mean, there's no age limit for studying. You can always advance in your life. Just do step by step. Everybody has their own time to succeed in life. Just do what you can in that moment in your life that you can do. I used to be like, oh my God, so-and-so has done this in their life, and me, I'm here, I'm at this age. And then you're just getting scared. And then when, you know, the years are advancing, you start panicking. You have not invested, you have not worked enough for you to be able to take, retirement, and you don't have a retirement plan, you know. If you haven't worked enough in France, and then you retire, it comes the time to retire, they won't let you retire. You have to work all those hours you're supposed to work to enable to in order to be able to earn your retirement money. Otherwise, forget it. So you find a lot of people, old people here, who wasted their teenagehood and their when they were young, they wasted their time, they didn't work a lot. So now is when they're working and cracking their backs, you know. So yeah, just do your best to do what you can wherever you are. And speaking of people that have asked me to find them jobs here or find them ways of bringing them here, and I've not been able to do, I know it's difficult back home. There are not a lot of opportunities for jobs. There are no helps from the government, you know, for the families with mothers, single parents, or even men. Like here they have something called Pôle emploi or France Travail. Well, their job is to find jobs for people who are jobless. So it's an office that deals with finding jobs for young people, for older people, for anyone who's looking for a job. And you have to register yourself every month, renew your registration every month until you find a job. And then once you work, and then maybe, for example, you lose your job in a few months, like 6 months, normally means for you to to get your unemployment money, it should be you have worked at least 6 months. So yeah, you can find yourself without employment, and if you've worked for at least 3 years, you'll be gaining some more money every month, almost close to what you were earning as a salary, until you find another job. So there are systems like that here that make life a bit livable. The salaries are shit, sorry to use that word, but I mean, you can live. You cannot sleep hungry, you can have a roof over your head. It's gonna be complicated to invest, you know. Like myself, I've not invested in anything. I have nothing to show for all those years I've lived in France, but that's gonna be a story for another video. Today, I just wanted to explain a little further about how I came here, what I'm doing, and well, my plans for the channel is that I'm going to be filming myself, just talking about life in general in France and in Europe. You okay, mommy? So my channel is going to be about life in general in France and in other European countries, and all, because I'll also be traveling with the kids a lot, hopefully from summer. And then like cooking, we're always cooking African food here. We cook Ugandan and Kenyan food. My kids love ugali. That's the only food when I cook here. There's no fights. Everybody eats, you know. And shopping sometimes, and where you can find African food, and like, you know, like just general life of being a mother to 3 kids. And yes, so guys, karibuni sana kwa channel yangu. Na saa zingine nitakuwa nazungumza Kiswahili pia, cause napenda Kiswahili sana. Yaani ni lugha ambayo mimi kwangu is the best language ever. It's the best language in the world. It's the most beautiful language. Ukiongea like you should. Yani if you speak Swahili like you should speak it, it's very beautiful. So like Swahili yetu ya street za Nai. Yani Kiswahili unaongea Kiswahili safi kama vile wa Tanzania. So I love Swahili so much. I'll be using it a lot in my other videos. And yeah, so guys, I hope I've done a better introduction. I am not a good public speaker. So this experience of being a vlogger will also help me to gain confidence on how to speak in front of people, speak in front of the camera. And I'm sure in my next videos, let's say after 15 videos, 20 videos, I'll be very good. So let's follow each other in this journey. If you're new here, please subscribe. And welcome back again. I'll be rolling out videos more often, not like I've done in the last 2 weeks. It was a bit crazy with the back to school, so dealing with 3 kids, it's not easy. But yeah, so thank you so much guys for watching. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana sana sana, na karibuni, na mbarikiwe, and please karibu, let's share life. Thank you guys, thank you.